Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. I'm back at a special filming spot location because guess what? We have that one pocket rocket straight from the shores of England, and it's this vehicle right here. What is it? It's a 2024 Mini Cooper S. But before we get into this small size, turbocharged, power-packed small vehicle, let's talk about what's going on here. So the Mini Cooper, its early roots go back to the 1960s, and it was all because of oil prices and availability of oil in England. Now, what's fascinating is that this small size vehicle really has become an automotive icon, just like the Volkswagen Beetle. You go back to the early days when you had your John Cooper Works rally edition of the Mini Cooper racing on rally stages throughout Europe. But then, of course, a fan club, a group of owners that really have grown to love this small size vehicle. Now, what's fascinating is over time, the Mini Cooper has changed in size. But one thing that it has not changed is its ultimate purpose, having something that is smaller, but yet can fit big people and big things along your journey. So what I want to find out is if you're looking for that pocket rocket hotter hatch, maybe not an ultimate hot hatch, but mild to medium hatch on the hotness level, do you go Mini Cooper S or do you go Volkswagen GTI, Golf GTI? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into our atomic fireball red Mini Cooper S and find out. Right off the bat, what I love about this vehicle, it's sort of just like with the Golf GTI. You could be a million miles away and be wearing an eye patch and you'll still know that this is a Mini Cooper S when it approaches you, just like the Volkswagen Golf GTI. So we're really talking about two automotive legends here. Now, at the front of the business, you're gonna see some changes that kind of developed over the past few years when they did a redesign. Starts at the front end. So of course you're still gonna have that more traditional oval roundish headlight. Of course we're gonna have projector beam LED headlights, round LED daytime running lamps that are also your turn signals. I like the way on our particular two-door hardtop that everything has been blacked out. All the trim is blacked out. Normally the trim around the headlights would be a shiny chrome finish. I'm digging the gloss black. I really feel that with the red and the white racing stripes, it really kind of goes into that sporty nature of the original Mini Cooper, especially this Mini Cooper S. Now, one of the changes that they did a couple years ago was redesigning the front fascia. So now we have these large corner air curtains, all body color, fully functional, a little bit of flat black in the corner. And then as we come across the front grille, this was another major change. And I'll be honest with you, when they first made this redesign, I didn't like it. On this particular one, I don't know if it's the red with the black accents, it just seems to work a little bit better. So you do have full functional flat black grille up top. You have body color in the center. That's something that was new when they did the redesign. You have that mail slot functional arrow in the middle, and then down below you can actually see the large intercooler, because remember, when you go Cooper S, we're going turbocharged intercooled power. And that's interesting because remember, the Volkswagen Golf GTI also has a turbocharged intercooled engine as well. Now on the lower lip, it's all gloss black, and you have these ginormous Florida orange size air intakes that are fully functional for brake cooling, for cooling of the heat exchangers. But let me know what you think about the front end of this vehicle. It's interesting. It's like, I don't want to use the word cute too much, but it definitely has this cute, lovable, familiar look, a little bit cuter than the Volkswagen Golf GTI. Now, we do have the S badge because this is a Mini Cooper S. Love the way they do the S, almost like a racetrack, part of a racetrack with the curves, because wait until you go for a little spin with me. This thing drives like a go-kart. It is so hooked up. Now, as we rise up, because we have the blacked out package, you are gonna get the Mini badge, all blacked out. My big zonk is fake hood scoop. Would have been so nice if you're gonna have a hood scoop, make it functional for God's sakes. It really wouldn't take much. Looks good, just not functional. Let me know how you feel about it. If it deserves a full zonk, a half zonk, a quarter zonk, let me know in the comment section. Now this one has the optional bonnet stripes. Remember, they don't call it a hood in England, they call it a bonnet. Like the stripes, just a nice pop of color. And I like the way that their stripes don't go across the roof and onto the hatchback area. Just like I said, gives it that nice sporty nature. Now, as we come around the bend, of course, we're gonna have new wheels and tires. What do we got going on? When you go Ionic package, you're actually getting these very specific Pulse wheels. Like the name of them, digging the machined aluminum grooved edges, the gloss black, 18-inch wheel, tires are 205 on the width, 40 series sidewall, and then in traditional Mini fashion, we do have the plastic around the fender openings. Now, in most cars, CX-30, hate it. Subaru WRX, hate it. For some reason, it works on this car. Now, I would be curious to see this painted all red, but I don't know if it needs to be. Let me know in the comment section. This is another area. Does it deserve to be zonked? I feel like it fits the attitude of this car. We do have a limited slip diff, front wheel drive, just like the Golf GTI, front wheel drive with a limited slip diff. And then you'll notice that we have our traditional side marker light that's LED with the S badge and some of this fake vent. Why does this need to be looking like a fake vent? Just smooth it out, because they did a great job plucking it, putting it and placing it inside that little indentation there. Now, you do get color matched on the mirror caps in that traditional Mini style. I like the way they do the blackout, the gloss black paint on the A-pillars, and you still have the traditional metalwork around the whole vehicle. I'm okay with this being silver. There's just something, I don't know, I feel like this is a specific aesthetic of a Mini, what makes a Mini Cooper a Mini Cooper, and if this was gloss black, I feel like it would get lost. But let me know in the comment section. Another thing, should this be zonked? Should it not be zonked? I'm not gonna zonk it. Like I said, I think it keeps that traditional style. Now, Mini style also gives you that nice flat roof. We do have that split panoramic roof. Nice to have that. You have gloss black on your door handles, and then you have the flat black along the sill. And I really feel like if you're gonna get a Mini Cooper and I would just go all in and get the damn two-door. The four-door Mini, I don't know, it doesn't work. And a Mini Countryman, don't even get me started. That's just like a subcompact crossover SUV. It's a shame that you can't get the Volkswagen GTI. The Golf GTI doesn't come in a two-door anymore, but you can get the hardtop in a two-door. Now, coming towards the rear, love the large quarter window when you go two-door. Really gives it, like I said, that classic look. We got the black paint on the rear pillars. They did a great job with this roof spoiler. I mean, it's got a nice kick up to it. It's got a nice attitude. And of course, it's functional. I'm not gonna zonk this. Now, I know you might be saying, Joe, have you been smoking drugs? Have you been huffing glue? Is this why you're not gonna zonk this? Because you always zonk the rear wipers. I don't know, I just feel like it's part of that aesthetic. That when I think Mini Cooper, I think of it having a rear wiper. I mean, that's just how I feel, but let me know in the comment section. Are you with me or are you zonking it? Let me know. The Union Jack, love the way they do those very unique taillights. Some gloss black that matches all the other gloss black with our Mini badge. We got our Cooper S badge, and I'm glad that they spelled out Cooper in black. And then dropping it like it's hot, and it's freaking hot out here, I promise you that. You got your dual outlet exhaust, sport exhaust. You can make it louder, you can make it quieter. The big zonk that I'm gonna stick with is the fake vent. Why oh why do we need fake vent? Just smooth it out. If you wanna put black trim there, that's fine. Just don't make it look like a vent. But I love the twin outlet exhaust. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop that bonnet and see the power plant underneath it. All right guys, we got the bonnet popped. And if you're saying to me, Joe, stop with the whole bonnet and England. Mini is owned by BMW, and that's a German company. Well, guess what? You're right. It is owned by BMW. It is a German car company, but these are still built in England. Final assembly is in England. So to me, it's British. Underneath the bonnet, what do we have going on? Very simple engine cover. I'm okay with it. I think that a lot of people are just going to keep the bonnets closed. What are we looking at? You have a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine putting out 189 horsepower, 207 pound-feet of torque, made it to an 8-speed automatic. Now let's talk about that. It's a 2-liter inline-4, just like a Volkswagen Golf GTI is, but a Golf GTI produces more horsepower. Let's just get it out of the way. But there's weight. This car weighs 2,800 pounds. A Golf GTI weighs more than 3,000 pounds. So that's going to affect how it performs. But 0 to 60 with the 8-speed automatic, 6 seconds flat, top speed 143 miles per hour. The kicker is MPGs, 28 in the city, 38 on the freaking highway. So you definitely have something that definitely has that sporty turbo kick, but then you're getting MPGs, which are out of this world. 28 in the city. That to me is pretty substantial. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this 4-banger in this Mini Cooper S and see it zoom. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Mini Cooper S 2-door hardtop. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I want something fun to drive. I'm so sick of being bored when I'm driving day in and day out. I don't want an SUV. I don't want a sports car because I would need something usable. This Mini Cooper S has my attention because I'm also looking at the Volkswagen Golf GTI. How much is this Mini Cooper S? This one, being an S, with the Ioniq package, has an MSRP of $38,000. Let's see what you get when you go Mini. To the door panels. I love the two-tone style. So you have all soft touch material, some gloss black, but you really shouldn't be touching that, so you don't have to worry about fingerprints. Even the way they do the door handle, it just has this fun, whimsy kind of experience in here. I'm not really an off-white interior kind of person, but it just works with the red and the white stripes. That door pocket is sad though. You might be able to get some bangers and mash in there, and that's about it. Going from the door panel to the dash, you do have the very cool looking styled AC vents, some gloss black, but you do get ambient lighting, which is nice, and you see the continuation of the two-tone, and then you slide on in, and I've always loved how Mini has this round center screen. This goes back to the original Mini Cooper days. They brought it in still with the newer generations. That's an 8.8-inch infotainment system screen. Obviously has swipe features, all different windows you could bring up, your Sirius XM, all the information about your Mini, even notifications when the Queen of England calls you, it lets you know. So it's kind of cool that it does all of that. You click on each icon and then you could go into different settings. We can go back and obviously show off the navigation. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Let me throw it into reverse for you. Backup camera is pretty clear. It's just on the small side. I wish it took up more than 8.8 inches. But you do have your sensing technology all the way around, which is great. Parking assist is another nice feature. And these are things that have trickled in from the BMW family. So not all things about this being connected with BMW is necessarily a bad thing. You have a real volume knob, which is great. You got your dual climate control, toggle switches for everything. You go into sport mode, you go into green mode, you got your start stop toggle switch, shut that pesky auto start stop feature off. The one thing that this doesn't have, it's got heated seats, but no ventilated seats. That to me is a zonk at $38,000. Down below you got a USB-C here, USB-A, a place for a good sized scone. Make sure your scone is on the stiffer side, because if it's too soft, it's just a muffin in a weird shape. 2 cup holders for some Earl Grey tea. This is going to control our 8-speed automatic transmission. You got your direct drive control knob. If you don't want to touch the screen, you could use the knob. You got a good old-fashioned mechanical e-brake. I guess what's good about showing you this armrest, this is how hard you want your scone to be a proper scone. You don't want it this hard for a nice armrest. But the good news is, open it up, you got wireless charging inside, and then you could just, if you hate this, you can just get it right out of the way, pretend it's not even there. Out of sight, out of mind, as they say. Napa leather interior with the off-white. Love the stitching. Look at the way they did the crisscross pattern, crisscross applesauce. Piping, manual controls for the passenger, manual controls surprisingly for the driver. But the great news is that you have a split panoramic roof. And how many cars can you reach into the back seat and open that shade up for the rear seat passengers from the front? That's how Mini Cooper this Mini Cooper is. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the Napa leather steering wheel in this Mini Cooper S. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. I love how large the door opening is because it is a two-door. It gives you a lot of room to get in and out. You got a beautiful aluminum sill plate with the Mini Cooper S badge. Pedal box is neat because the pedals look like they came off an old Mini Cooper back from the 60s. I just wish they were aluminum since this was a Mini Cooper S. You do have a nice sized dead pedal though. Manual seat controls is a bummer, but what's not a bummer is the amount of room in here. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room. Up top, I forgot to show you when we were on the passenger side, you have toggle switches for your interior lighting and to open up the sunroof. And then there she is, your Napa leather wrapped steering wheel. Gloss black on the switch gear, which is gonna get lots of fingerprints, but you got the classic mini badge, large paddles to go up and down the 8-speed automatic, and it is a manual tilting telescoping wheel. And then you have a 5.5-inch digital gauge cluster with your tach, your fuel gauge. Up top, they have that old school HUD where the plastic pops up. Like watch, when I shut the car off, that actually closes. That is dumb. That's a major zonk. Why are you giving me dated HUD head-up display like that? But why don't we go ahead? You can see how much room there is. Let's find out if there's room in the back seat for even big people like Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. Let's get back there. All right, guys, backseat time. And as you can see, it's pretty insane how much room there is in this back seat. It's a little tight for 6-foot Joe Raiti to get by the front seat, but once you're in like Flynn, and it feels really good. Let me put the headrest up because that probably looks a little weird. There we go. I can sit here, be comfortable, lots of headroom, and I'm gonna move the rear passenger seat. So I realistically put it in a position that Lori would be sitting in, and I still have room. My knees are not touching the back of the seat. You do have a single cup holder. Of course, we got some speakers for the sound system, and we have another cup holder in the center. So you can be extra thirsty back here and have that extra cup holder, which is great. But why don't we go ahead? I showed you where the passengers are gonna be sitting. Let's see if there's any room for your junk in the trunk of this Mini Cooper. All right, guys, cargo area time. Pick up the hatch. There's no electric assist, but don't worry, it's not heavy. But just so you know, the beach is that way. What you're gonna be greeted to, it's a decent amount of space. I mean, it's probably gonna surprise you when you see how much room there is in person. There's almost 9 cubic feet of space with the rear seats up. Of course, the rear seats fold down, 60-40 split. And another nice thing is I like the way you could have the headrest up, or if you don't have anybody in the back seat, put the headrest down and it gives you a nice clear view out the rear glass. On top of that, check it out. Plenty of storage underneath. You could easily put 36 boxes of Twinkies here. Lori and I actually filled them up, and then what happened was a group of kids came by on a field trip and we gave the Twinkies to them before we filmed. So wasn't able to show you. And then if you notice, with this, I like the way it stays up. Look at that. It's like I could get my Twinkies and walk away and it stays up. Or if I want it closed, boom, there you go. But it's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's hop in this Mini Cooper S and go on throttle together. All right, guys, we're inside this Mini Cooper S, 2024 Mini Cooper S, 2-door, hardtop, talking about it and the mighty Volkswagen Golf GTI. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the shift lever and pull it towards my leg, my right leg, so that it goes into manual shift mode. And I'm gonna use those larger paddles to go up and down the 8-speed automatic transmission just to make it a little bit more engaging of a drive experience. Right away, seating position is awesome. Visibility is fan-freaking-tastic. It's just that weird head-up display bothers me. I don't know why, it just bothers me because that's like a dated piece of technology. This deserves a traditional head-up display. But if you're ready, I'm ready. We're gonna go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. All the way out to 6,500 RPM red line. The car handles really, really well. Like I said, the way that the wheelbase is nice and long on it, it really helps give it a nice stable riding experience when you're going through the twisty bits. But then it's still short enough to where it still turns on a freaking dime. It handles like it's on rails. Now, being behind the wheel, the seats are comfy. They hold you in pretty well. I'm gonna have to say that the GTI seats are gonna hold you in just a little bit better. But from a style standpoint, these seats look much higher end, especially with that Nappa leather. Paddles are easy to reach, and shifts happen very quickly. On throttle, here we go. I love the weight in the steering. It's a nice, not too heavy kind of feel, but it makes you communicate well with what the front end of the car is doing. Because you want to be able to have that feeling of how much grip you have at the front end of the business. You got a small gear indicator to the left of the speedometer, let you know what gear you're in. I wish that was just a little bit larger, at least in sport mode, and we are in sport mode. The mid mode, that to me is kind of pointless, and eco, that would be the only other way to go if you're looking for maximum MPGs, which, like I said, 28 in the city is actually pretty insane in a good way. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Slow roll, first gear, on throttle, here we go. Nice shifts. On the brakes. You know, it's crazy just how much grip you get from the front of this vehicle, even though it's front wheel drive and it's doing both the turning and the acceleration. But very balanced, not a lot of body roll. And I would be willing, like, you give me a tight road like the tail of the dragon, 318 turns in 11 miles, it'd be interesting to see how the weight advantage of this car over the Golf GTI would play out. Because like I said, GTI wins in horsepower. No way around that. But in weight, this vehicle wins. 2,800 pounds for the two-door is phenomenal. But it's such a buttoned up, well-engineered car. It's really smooth inside. You're not getting all this vibration and shakes and everything. The suspension is very well tuned. You are getting some sound pumped in through the speaker system, which the Golf GTI does that as well. I think that just seems to be the case nowadays. But of course you can get an aftermarket exhaust for either car. But it just gives you this vibe of what it must have been like back in the 60s to be a John Cooper Works driver and take this on different rally stages around the world. I mean, it won the Monaco Rally, which is the biggest rally of the year. Visibility of the side mirrors is great. Lots of room for your passengers and your stuff. And if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. But the shifts are great. You hit the paddle, instantaneous shift, on the brakes. Look at that. And the great news is they're not like freaking having to like iron fist the steering wheel. It wants to dance with you, and it does it very well. Super smooth, super composed, and I dig that about this car. All right, guys, one more time for me, definitely one more time for you. On throttle, here we go. Pulls all the way to 6,500 RPM. Look at this. You don't need 500 horsepower to have fun behind the wheel of one of these. Brakes feel great. Look at this. Yahoo! What I'm finding is that the buttons for the freaking sound system on the wheel are in a stupid place. It's right on the edge. So what's happening is, it's sort of like the Golf GTI. The big zonk is that the steering wheel heater button is on the side. Well, guess what? I just discovered a zonk, and you wouldn't know this until you were doing some sporty driving. The volume knob, or I should say the volume button, is right on the edge of the steering wheel. That's why in some of these corners, just the tip of my palm right here is touching that button and making the music come on. I don't know if I like that. Actually, I do know I don't like that. But it's one of those things that maybe with some practice I'll be more mindful. But I don't want to be thinking about hitting buttons when I'm carving the twisty bits. I want to enjoy the twisty bits. Yahoo! Look at this. It's flat through this corner. Nice. Just really puts a smile on your face. I mean, and that's what cars like this are about. Not about going to a car show and, you know, trying to overcompensate for something you don't have. It's about, hey, you're driving an icon, you're driving a legend, and you're having freaking fun. And you can drive it every single day. But definitely glad that I could bring this car to you, and hopefully it brings up a good question. Are you going this, or are you going with the GTI? But we got to get back and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a minute. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways with this Mini Cooper S. Definitely got to thank everybody at Mini USA for getting us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Which icon are you going with? Are you going with the Mighty Mite, the Mini Cooper S, or are you going with the original hot hatch, the Volkswagen Golf GTI? Let me know how you're going to spend your money in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Got to give it up to LGR. Who is that? Lori Gibbons Raiti, working that camera like the champion she is. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for doing an awesome job. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.